All right, let's compare creating color IDs in Maya to creating color IDs in Blender. And again, first what I'll do is I'll kind of talk conceptually what color IDs are for. Then I'll demonstrate how to do color IDs in Maya, and then I'll demonstrate how to do color ID in Blender. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to kind of talk about which method I prefer. So jumping right in here, if we look at this, color IDs are basically a smart way to mask before bringing into your texturing program something like Substance Painter. So for example, I can see here that on the motorcycle, everything that's chrome is blue. Everything that's metal is green. Everything that's leather is red. Everything that's rubber is yellow. It doesn't matter what color. It's just saying that this material that's going to be applied here is going to be different than this material and this material. And I can see that because this color is the same as that just means they're the same material. It doesn't mean, it's not determining what material, it's just kind of like a smart mask. So let's kind of talk about how to do that in both programs. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Maya, and you can see kind of the end result, what that looks like. I'm just going to kind of go ahead and bring Maya full screen, and I'm going to hide the example, and then here's just kind of a clean starting point. Okay, so in here, you may think, well, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and assign a different material. Okay, right click and assign something, but that's not the way that you want to do it. Okay, instead what we're going to do is we're going to assign what's called vertex color. And I'm just going to go to mesh display. I want to make sure that I'm in the modeling menu set, mesh display, apply color options, and then this rips off. Okay, if I want to kind of apply a color to the whole thing, maybe I select the whole thing, and then I go here and I can choose any color I want. So maybe I choose kind of a dark purple. There we go, and hit apply. Great. Now I could come in here, and let's say if I wanted all the leather pieces, let's say these were all leather, and they were all going to be the same leather. So I could select those, and then I could come in here, and I could choose a different color. And then if I selected the tires, I know that those are going to be different, and I'm going to go ahead and select or apply a different color. Now sometimes I'm going to want to have parts of a model have, like, let's say rubber and then metal. So what I might do is I select the handlebars. I'm going to click on this icon to isolate select, press F to frame up on it. Now I could do this. I could select the faces. Maybe I turn on symmetry here, Object X, and I can select. So I selected one, shift double clicked on its neighbor, and then shift greater than. It's going to grow my selection. And I want to grow the selection. I'm going to keep growing the selection. Shift greater than. And I'm going to grow it all the way down. Again, shift greater than, shift greater than. Okay, right there. And now I can make this a different color. Obviously a color that I haven't used yet. Now hit apply, and I can start to see what's going on there. And I could have probably had, you know, mirroring turned on, whatnot, but I feel like we start to get the idea here, where I can have different parts of my model, different colors, and that's kind of embedded into the model, that when I bring it into another program, it's going to remember that information. And I can see that if I took enough time, this is what the end result would look like. Here, in this case, pink being chrome, blue being rubber, and etc., etc. Even the mirrors, you can see, have a special color assigned. Okay, and I should also point out that if I select this whole thing, if I want to swap between, I can go down here from mesh display, I can swap between, these are the materials that I have assigned to it. And then if I go to toggle, I can toggle between the vertex color, the view of the vertex color, and the view of the materials, which is independent of the vertex color. Okay, so I have to remember that. And one thing that you can do is if you create a custom shelf, so I could hit new shelf, and I already have a shelf started. I could go like this. I could go to mesh display, and I could control shift click on toggle display colors. Now if you click on it, it's not going to do anything, but you have to have the thing selected, and then I could swap back and forth just like that. Okay, so just kind of something to think about in Maya. Now let's take a look at how that would be done in Blender. Okay, great. Here's the end result that we want. I'm going to go ahead and hide that and just go to my starting point. And now here, this is the starting materials that it has. And I just want to kind of point something out, is that I can see that here is how I'm viewing the material. Okay, I can have my studio lighting, or I can have my flat lighting. Maybe I'll keep it at studio. And then if I want to choose vertex, I could go here and choose my vertex color. Now I haven't applied any vertex color, that's why it's solid gray, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of apply that vertex color right now. So what I would need to do in object mode, let's say if I selected, well, I can see right now that this is, it looks like it's all one solid piece. Okay, so if it is, I just need to separate it. So I'm just going to select this whole thing. And then I'm going to press P. I'm in object mode. Press P, and or I'm sorry, I have to be in edit mode. And now if I press P, I can say by loose parts, and that's going to make them all individual parts, so I can select it. So if I go back to object mode, okay, great. I can see that I can select individual objects here. So let's say if I wanted to start with this seat, and I knew this was obviously going to be leather, and I want to pick a particular material. Well, what I can do is I can select the object, then I can go here and switch to vertex paint mode. Okay, now when I'm in vertex paint mode, I can choose a color. Let's say I want blue. Then I can do Shift K is going to fill it, that object. Now it doesn't really have that lighting information on. I can view it however I want. If I go to flat, you can see that, yeah, that's a perfect blue that it filled in there. Okay, now let's say if I select another object. So if I go back here to object mode, and if I select this, and then if I switch back to vertex mode, now if I want to paint that one, I can go to paint, and you can see set vertex colors is Shift K. I could right click and I can say add to quick favorites. Now it says remove from quick favorites because mine was already on there. So now what happens if I press Q for quick favorite, I can just click on that and boom, it's there. So you can kind of start to see that if I go back to object mode, I select this. Unfortunately, I don't believe I can select multiple things at the same time. I'll go ahead and try it. So if I selected both of those, now if I hit tab, actually I think this might work. So now if I go into vertex paint, I'm going to go Q, set vertex color, and I can see that it did not do it for the previous one. Okay, so that's kind of a little annoying. Maybe you can, if you can, just go ahead and kind of leave a comment in the notes there. But so that's how you can kind of fill multiple colors, which is cool. Now let's talk about like the handlebar situation. Well, I'm going to go to object mode. I can select this, and if I want to isolate select, I'm going to do the slash on the number pad, and then I can see it there. And then if I press the period on the number pad, it's going to frame up. Okay, or actually, yeah, the period is going to frame up, but it looks like it already was framed up. And now I'm going to just turn on the wireframe because I want to see the actual wireframe. So to do that, I'm going to click on this icon here, go to wireframe, and now I can actually see the wire. To select the faces, I want to make sure that I'm in edit mode, and then I'm going to select one face, and I want to be in face mode right here. So I can select one particular face, and then I'm going to alt click on this. Now, one thing, if I alt click this way, it's going to select a row that way. So what I need to do is I need to select this, and I'm going to do alt, and I'm going to click on close to the edge in the direction that I want it to go. So if I clicked on close to this edge, it's going to go that way. If I click close to this edge, it's going to go that way. So I'm just going to go like that. Then if I want to grow the selection, I'm going to control, let me see, hold on, let me see. Yeah, control plus on the number pad. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of keep doing Control plus. I could actually hold it down. You can see that it'll go like that. And I want to just fill this. Okay, awesome. And now if I want to paint just this part, I'm going to switch back to vertex paint. And I need to be, well, first of all, I'm going to just kind of select a crazy color here like that. And now I'm going to choose the face mode right here. And now it should just paint those selected faces. So if I do Shift K, I guess I could have done my Q to get my quick select. And then I can color parts of an object. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Then again, if I hit Tab, I'm back here. And if I have that selected like that, if I do Control I, it's going to do the inverse selection, and then I could go ahead and paint that a different color. So if I click on the slash again on the number pad, it's going to bring up everything back. And again, if I took the amount of time, to kind of do that, eventually I'd end up with something like this. And again, if I go back to object mode, I feel like what's nice, what I like about in Blender is how easy I can view this, right? It feels very clean. I can look at the material, or I can look at my vertex. I can look at it with studio lighting, or I can look at it in flat, or even matte cap lighting. So as far as which one do I like better, I feel like there's parts of Blender that I like better on this, and there's parts of Maya that I like Blender on this. If I was doing a very complicated object, I do think it is a little faster to do it in Maya. So Maya just barely gets, I feel like, my thumbs up on this, but I feel like Blender's interface for it, I feel like gets my thumbs up for it. But that being said, I think that if you had to make a choice between either Blender and or Maya, I think that if you had both available, go ahead and use Maya. I think it might be a little quicker. But if you are choosing, hey, should I buy Maya? I don't think it's worth it. I feel like this is going to be very quick and efficient and get the job done. And I think that once you kind of get in the workflow, it'll kind of speed things up. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and to see more videos like this all the time. Thank you.